Welcome back to session 5. We're so glad that you're joining with us, and we're being very deliberate about making sure you understand the calling that comes on each and every one of us. We've been transparent as a family so that you can see between my wife and myself and our 3 sons, God's choice for each one of us is different. We make a choice to serve God the way Joshua said, as for me and my household, we're going to serve the Lord. So you got to be intentional about that, and that's why we're sharing what we're sharing, so that you can glean from some of our life stories and then apply them to yourself. The Bible does say that if you train up a child in the way he should go, I want us to realize in part of that training, you have to understand that children, your children, whether they be your own biological children or children that you've mentored and children that you've taken under your wing, are all wired differently. So just take a few moments, listen to my son Jordan as he explains his heart, and then when he's finished, we're going to hear from my first son, Adam. God bless you, and thank you for joining us.
When Adam and myself, when we actually gave our heart to the Lord and started kind of working for the church and doing maintenance at the church, Adam really got this calling for youth ministry. And I've always been that one, maybe it's the middle child syndrome, I've always been that one that, I don't know, just can't focus, and just doing a lot of different things and just kind of getting my hand in a lot of different things, but never really focused on one thing. It's just me. Just watching Adam do that, grow the youth ministry, I was just always all over the place and always had the heart for missions. I mean, my dad, ever since I was young, my dad would take, I don't know how many mission trips to Guatemala and Haiti, and I would always beg him to go. I loved being with people. I loved holding the kids. I mean, I'm 7, 6, 8, 9 years old or whatever. I'm holding the kids and sitting down and eating with them and playing with them. That was just always a passion of mine. I got that from my dad. I got that, even that evangelistic side from my dad. So just missions just became my heart, and the whole, I guess, not being able to focus and not being able to stay on one thing has really just helped me do what I do, because every day is different, every project is different, every country is different. It's just never the same, and I love that. It's like a puzzle, you've got a ton of different pieces and they're all scattered and nothing makes sense, and you start to put the puzzle together and everything's different shapes and different sizes, and you could almost say, oh, I'm not a corner, or I'm not a side, or I'm kind of an unimportant piece, but you need all the pieces to make the puzzle, to see the big picture. By itself, you can't see the big picture. And so, if you take that one piece and you're trying to stick it in somewhere where it doesn't fit in, you're gonna hurt your thumb. It's just not gonna go right. And that was me kind of being in a place that I just didn't fit, and that was okay. When you finally find that place exactly where that puzzle piece goes, it just like, it just fits. It's like this little air pocket that just bloop, and it's so easy, and it goes in so easy, and it's just like, there it goes. That makes sense. There's where I belong almost. And that was for me, going to Peru and kind of falling into the whole humanitarian deal about serving people and loving people, and kind of meeting people's physical needs that put me in position then to meet the spiritual need. First thing we did was a medical campaign, and we just got a bunch of doctors and dentists together, and we set up a tent, and lines formed, and we saw, 1,500 people in a day, and I was like, this is amazing, because they go through our tent, they see our doctor, they go get their medicine and some food, and then if they want, and everybody did, I mean, no one would say no, but they'd go see someone in a tent, and they'd say, hey, can I pray for you, and any needs, and can I pray, and it would just be this conversation of, yeah, so this is what Jesus did for me, and share Christ with them, and it was just amazing. And while we're out there, someone would say, hey, my uncle needs a wheelchair. Do you have any wheelchairs? Okay, let's find some wheelchairs. We got to do that. And someone say, we don't have clean water. Okay, let's find somebody that can donate some wells and water filtration systems. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And it was like, the story of the Good Samaritan, where, 2 guys, they see the same problem, but they cross the street and keep walking. There's one guy who sees the exact same problem. The other 2 guys, he's like, I'm not crossing the street. I'm going to help this guy. I'm going to get involved. I'm going to put my resources. He didn't go fundraising. He took what he had on him and he helped the guy. And it was like, it was that kind of thing. I said, I'm never going to cross the street. I'm going to help. If I see somebody and they have a need, I want to help that person and go above and beyond. Do this thing with like a culture of excellence that, I don't want to just help him to the hotel or help him to the hospital. I want to pay all his bills. And I just want to, we always say we want to help people not only in their situation, but out of their situation. So I want to go above and beyond to help these people. And so it went from medical campaigns to hair lip surgeries to wells to water filtration systems to wheelchairs, and it just kept growing, growing, growing. And it was all from, the click of the puzzle piece. And it was like, this makes sense. This is what I do. I don't have to be preaching Sunday, Sunday in, Sunday out. This is what I'm called to do. This is my life. And it was really just finding ways to meet people's needs, to almost put a smile on their face, which then kind of built a relationship and gained the trust of the person and almost gained the right to speak into their lives. I got back to New York 3 years ago and pretty much just put exactly what I felt God called me to do in Peru, to do in New York, and it was meet the community. It was serve and love them. It was be the feet of Jesus and be the hands and give a cup of cold water, or whatever it is. And getting back to New York and starting to run the Legacy Center, we were just like, well, what's the itch in the community? How do we scratch it? How do we, when you got an itch on your back and someone scratches you, like, how do we do that for someone? How do we kind of take that pain away, or that discomfort away? How do we do that? Okay, people need GED, people need ESL, people need job training, job placement, people need blankets or Pampers, whatever. It's like, all right, well, let's try to do that. And so it just kept growing and growing, and before you know it, I was sitting in this warehouse with forklifts and lifting up pallets. World Vision closed their shop over in the Bronx and said, hey, do you guys need some pallet shelving? I'm like, yeah, sure. Went over there and just took everything we could and we set it up, and kind of like Legos, we just, playing, not even thinking anything what God was gonna do. And then Sandy hit. And as horrible it was, God had us ready for it. And this warehouse was packed and emptied and packed and emptied and packed and emptied. And we were just giving stuff out, and we're like, this is amazing. This is like, this is what I love. This is what, fuels me. This is what gives me energy. This is why I wake up in the morning and we get to give stuff to people and help them in their greatest hour of need. And it's really just loving and serving people any way I can. Every day is different. Every country is different. Every city here in New York is different. Every family is different. Every individual is different. But I love that I get to, share Christ with them. Not just tell them that Jesus loves them, but show them.